Boxing fans here with none other than Adam Smith. Adam, you were known as head of boxing. Now I'm not sure what your position is, so can you enlighten the fans on what your position is with Sky Sports?
Absolutely. I changed roles a few weeks ago. It's a role I asked for a few months ago. The new role is. It's not dissimilar for the purposes of this sort of stuff. It's head of boxing development, so very much involved in boxing. What we decided to do was the production team and the commercial sort of side was split up. So the production team, which Ed Robinson runs the sort of day-to-day mechanisms of it, under Georgie Faulkner, who runs the sort of multi-sport department where she does the darts and everything, GAA, the rugby, the boxing, the NFL, all sorts of stuff. And I wanted a role, really. I mean, I was sort of doing loads of different hats, and I obviously love my commentary and adore that side of it. So I'm going to come back and join the team for the big fights, like this weekend. But I sit now under a guy called Jonathan Lish, who's brilliant. He's the Deputy Managing Director of Sky Sports. And having talked to the new MD, Rob Webster, I've gone to work with Jonathan on the commercial side, because we feel it's really important now that these next couple of years, we've got contracts sort of coming towards an end. Matchroom have been brilliant with us for so long. We want to renew that. We want to keep working with them. Anthony Joshua, obviously, as well. We want to keep working with him. Really important parts of the business. And at a time where, Sky Sports box office events are key to the business, but also we're looking at BT Sports doing more box office. Dazn coming in this week, which we knew was going to happen. No big surprise there. So, I just felt I needed to spend more of my time on the ground, on the commercial side, and talking to you guys and things like that. It's rather than the team, which can be run better by Ed and by Georgie, and they can work on making the show sparkle much better than I could, and I can maybe play to my strength a little bit more. So it's a slightly different role, but it's still in boxing, and I also get time to work with my scholars, which I'm really proud of. I try to help develop Savannah Marshall through 4 years of Sky Sports scholarships, and obviously she now stands on the cusp of a world title, which is going to be a pretty nervous night for me. So I've been with her since pretty much 2012, and I look after a guy called Daniel Altmaier, who's a top tennis player from Germany. So I'm very involved in the scholars, other athletes, Imani Lancicott and Joe Fraser, the gymnast, and Emily Appleton, the tennis player, and there's a lot of great young adults coming through in the sports world, and so I've got a bit more time to spend with them. So yeah, it's a slightly different role, but it's still very much in and around boxing.
I didn't want to talk about it straight away, but you spoke about it there, about DAZN coming to the UK. They've actually spoken about sort of the Matchroom US cards being on DAZN, and at some point, there's this whole thing online that Matchroom and Sky Sports is going to end 2021, possibility that Matchroom ship over to DAZN and show on the UK. What's going on in your head at this present time? Is this that threat of this happening?
Someone asked me earlier, what happens if Eddie leaves? I thought my family will be probably pretty happy, seeing as I spend more time talking to him. Well, no, I mean, I speak to him every day. As you know, we've got a great relationship and always have. And he's been phenomenal for the sport. He's been phenomenal to work with. We do have our, discussions at times to time, but mostly we think alike. And, it will be, would I be personally sad if he did decide to go to DAZN or somewhere else, or we made a change? Yeah, probably would. But it's business, and we all know that. I don't think Eddie's going to go anywhere. I think he's very happy at Sky. I think he's got, we've had a long-term relationship. Obviously, Barry has been connected with Sky for much longer than Eddie's been involved, through the darts, through the Fishermania, through the ping pong, through the snooker, through the pool, through everything. Matchroom and Sky have been very loyal to each other. We've been very loyal to AJ as well, and vice versa. So I'd like to think that, we'll carry on working with AJ and Eddie for a long time yet. So we're looking to start negotiations, very soon on all of that. But the most important thing is what's happening now. DAZN are entering the UK market. It's not a surprise. We've worked really well with them in tandem for the last 18 months. I don't see them as the enemy. I mean, I get on very well with Joe Markowski and Matt Miller, and all the team there. John Gleischer and John Skipper and all of that lot. I think they're a great bunch, and they've got a business. They've got strategies. They're doing their own thing. We've got a different business in a way. We've just been taken over by Comcast. It's global now. We've got NBC and Universal. It's very different. Our sports business is all about the plethora of rights we have, the Premier League, the golf, the cricket, everything. And I think Formula One, loads of them. And I think it'll be interesting to see what DAZN do. You know, are they going to try and get some of those rights? Will it just work with boxing? You know, I don't know. And the hardcore, yes, the trade, but they've got to appeal to the casual. They'll set their prices low and all of that. And yeah, I think it's really interesting times. Will Eddie definitively jump because they'll pay huge amounts more money? I don't think so. But, you know, I don't know. It's discussions and negotiations that will have to go on. I think that he'll be very happy with Sky and what we put on the table. And, you know, we've got to be happy as well. You know, it's not just a one-way street. And I think the most important thing for me is that we continue to deliver great shows, especially at 10 o'clock at night on Sky Sports, on Box Office, and also the digital and social side and Sky Sports News and the whole sort of, you know, platforms that we have, that our customers love boxing. And you know, and you know, it's sometimes we're fight fans and we think of the trade and the hardcore a lot, but ultimately there's a lot of casual fans that have got into it. Women's boxing's grown rapidly. A lot of people are saying, you know, God, what announcements this week? And you know, you've got Alexander Povetkin fighting Dillian Whyte, you've got Kubrat Pulev fighting Joshua, huge shows. Not a lot of people are mentioning to me about Dazn, so that's within the marketplace, yes, but the casual fans outside need to get to know who these guys are. So they've got a task on. There's some brilliant people there, and I'm sure they'll give it absolutely everything. And who knows where we'll end up? You know, we've got BT sitting on our platform as well. There may be changes to the way we work going forwards. And if we don't get the international content that we were getting and have been getting for a while, then we'll look to another strategy of what we do. So no, it's exciting. I like competition. I like challenges. I like the fact that it keeps everyone on their toes. You know, the team at Sky go, what happens? I said, well, we've got to up our game. We've got to be even better, and we'll be doing this for a long time.
A sort of a plan B that a lot of people are talking about is emergence of MTK Global. They seem to be signing up a lot of high-level fighters, biggest of all, Tyson Fury. But would there be talks between yourselves and maybe MTK to maybe host some of their shows on your platform?
Well, we're working with MTK.
In regards to the golden contract, but I mean, like, going forward, more shows, maybe more things in the UK?
MTK have got a fantastic stable, and of course Tyson Fury, and they seem to work with everyone, with BT, with Top Rank, with everyone. They seem to work with all sorts of Eddie. Yeah, they're doing a great job. I think, look, I work very well with them. Our contract's through Eddie. You know, Eddie's sorted out the golden contract, and we're all working in unison. The MTK guys on the ground, and all the shows have been working brilliantly with our production team. And there's some fantastic people they've got involved, and also the fighters they've got are terrific. So of course, you know, that could easily be a possibility going forward. So we'll have to see. But at the moment, you know, we've got a relationship with Eddie Hearn, and for us, it's, you know, Eddie's worked very hard to make sure we have got some independence. You know, we went and got some PBC fights with Deontay Wilder, with, you know, Sean Porter and Errol Spence and all that. And, you know, Eddie's been very helpful in aiding us with a lot of that sort of stuff as well, where he could have just shut up shop, and he hasn't. And you know, he's embraced MTK, and the golden contract's been brilliant for us, and we've really enjoyed having that, something new. Who knows what the future holds? But the most important thing is our negotiations with Matchroom and with Anthony Joshua, because they're our long-standing contracts, of course.
Let's talk about why we're here. Dillian Whyte, Alexander Povetkin, a great fight for a fighter who doesn't need to put that much on the line, but he's putting a lot on the line by this fight. That WBC mandatory position that he's in could easily go if he loses this fight. Just talk to me about Dillian Whyte, you know, the frustrations that he's been through and everything else, but he's still waiting and still fighting top level opposition.
Well, firstly, it's been a great day, 2 press conferences. Yeah. Scott Quigg, John O'Carroll, terrific fight for Sky Sports audiences, and then Dillian Whyte, Alexander Povetkin for Sky Sports Box Office. Dillian Whyte literally banged on our doors at Sky in January. He said, I've had enough of you talking about AJ, I've had enough of you talking about, I want to be, I'm back, right? He had a rough last few months, as we know. Okay, he had the win over Oscar Rivas. He's taken the all comers. He should have had a shot at the world title by now. He's been mandatory for forever, you know, as long as I can remember. And he deserves his opportunity. But you know what? It's not going to happen for the moment. We know that. There's unifications, there's trilogies, there's all sorts going on out there. Dillian's brilliant. He just knuckles down and gets on with it. Tough fight against Alexander Povetkin. Always against Povetkin. Only 2 defeats on the record. Yes, controversial win over Michael Hunter, maybe, but 2 defeats to Klitschko and to Joshua, and he gave AJ a lot of problems in the first part of that fight. Alexander Povetkin cannot be looked past. He's tough, he'll come, he'll give it everything. We know what he's going to get. He looks fit today. Looks like he could fight today. And it's not till May the 2nd. Dillian looked a bit out of shape in Saudi, didn't perform as well. He'd had a tough time. We can allow him that little slip. Now he seems to be back. He's got the bit between his teeth. I'm a big admirer of Dillian Whyte. And by the way, so is my mum. We're big admirers of Dillian Whyte. I like him because he's real. He says what he believes in. It's no nonsense. He gets on with it. I like the fact that, he doesn't want the ticket prices. He wants to get the fans in. It's not... He's got a lot of pride, Dillian. He wants to do it his way, and he's gone about it. And you know what? I really hope he gets that world title shot within the next 12, 18 months or so, because he deserves it. But he's got to beat Alexander Povetkin, so he keeps putting himself up in these risky fights. Whether it's the Lucas Brown, the Joseph Parker, the Derek Chisoras, what a fight last time in Manchester against Derek Chisora. The table flew up, all of that nonsense, and then we had a great barn burner of a fight, which could have gone either way. Now he's fighting Povetkin. He doesn't do it the easy way, Dillian. I think a lot of people admire that. So yeah, really excited about that fight, and I know what might be also announced as well. So we're waiting for final contracts, as Eddie teased at the dais, and it's an absolute cracker what's going to come, which I hope. So fingers and toes across that announcement will come very soon as well. So it's going to be a massive night in Manchester on May the 2nd.
Another fight that's been touted for the end of May is Alexander Usyk, Derek Chisora. Nothing official so far. From understanding through boxing sources, people who are quite a bit, they're saying
that's Mike Coppinger.
Yeah, exactly. But there's people like Eddie Hearn's actually mentioned in a couple of interviews that they're just sorting out a date. Maybe a date has been sorted out. When can we sort of officially hear something from you guys?
Haven't we heard enough this week? I mean, come on. If we did everything at once, I think it will be soon. I think it will be sooner rather than later. I think it will be within the coming days. As far as I understand, it's pretty much done. I was with David Hayat in Vegas. I think they're sort of happy, and the Usyk team are great. And let's hope it's a great fight. So let's hope it is announced. And if that is part of the schedule as well for the spring, early summer, then it's happy days for the heavyweights, isn't it? A lot coming up, and we're really excited about it.
Final question. I know you need to go. I know the Sky Sports are waiting for you. Final question. With that fight being in place, this fight being in place, and Anthony Joshua's fight being in place, 3 pay-per-views in the space of a month and 20 days, 30 days. Yeah, we call it 2 months. People are going to be complaining about this, as you know, Adam. Like, there's only 3 fights they probably want to watch, but they might not be able to afford. What's the response you give in regards to that?
Listen, I'm a fight fan. You're a fight fan. You don't have to watch everything. We try and watch everything. We don't have to. So you make the decision yourself if you want to buy the box office events. And I think that's always been the case. We think about box office events very carefully. Obviously, there's a bigger market now. There's a slight saturation because we were the only business in town for many years with that. And now you entered. ITV did. Seem not at the moment, but they have. BT have. Great one with Wilder and Fury, and great one with Dubois and Joyce coming up. And we look carefully at what we got to offer, and I work very hard, as to the whole of the team, to make sure that we get value for money each and every time. And for us, a box office event's got to be extra, razzle dazzle. As I said earlier in the interview about the production, that's their responsibility for really getting the best out and getting the best hype and the best build-up and the best narrative and the stories and all that, all the great stuff you love to watch. For me, it's getting making sure that we get the best possible fights on Sky Sports and on Sky Sports box office. And we've got to look at each card individually. And also, we haven't had a box office event since Anthony Joshua fought in Saudi Arabia, so it's a lot of Sky Sports fights in between. So we'll make sure that when we do it, it's spectacular and it's that difference. But again, it's up to fight fans if they want to buy it. I can understand criticism. I understand people have been criticising the Terry Harper and Natasha Jonas fight online today, and that's their business. If they want to do that, it's subjective. That's their opinion. In my opinion, it's a next gen show. We only came to next gen to give the prospects a chance of starring on Sky Sports in prime time. They're meant to be the sort of 5-0, 6-0s. Now we've got a world title fight, the first time ever between 2 British females fighting for a world title. Terry Harper, an incredible story over the last year and a half. Natasha Jonas, Miss GB, what a great character she is. I tell you, one of the best atmospheres I've ever been with when I was with Johnny watching the Natasha Jonas, Katie Taylor fight in the Olympics. bring it on. It's in Doncaster. It's going to be rocking. What are we worried about? Let's enjoy it. There's too much negativity. Let's enjoy what we do. Everyone's thinking, I'm going to come up here and, oh, God, Dazn. Everyone's going to ask me a question. Should I ask him the question about Dazn? Ask me whatever you like. I'm a fight fan. We can't have everything. Let's embrace competition. Let's listen to people, and let's try and get better and better. We can't deliver everything. It's not possible. We just do the best we can. And I tell you what, I've got the most passionate people back at Sky doing whatever they can, I promise you, to make the customers as happy as they can be. We try our best.
Adam Smith, thank you very much for talking to ProBox. I appreciate that.